Understanding the criminal justice system, one question at a time. What are victims' rights and who is supposed to explain them? The system keeps moving even when the victim is still in shock. One of the first things a victim must understand is that the criminal justice system is very different from what we see on TV. On television, the victim appears to be at the center of the case. Someone explains every step, answers every question, and makes sure the victim understands what is happening. That was not my experience. The reality is that the criminal justice system starts moving immediately. You may be given names, dates, forms, instructions, and legal words as though you can understand and remember everything, even when you have just lost someone you love and can barely think clearly. Most of the people involved are doing their jobs. But while they are doing their jobs, you are living through what may be the worst thing that has ever happened to you. To the system, your case may become one of the many fouls that must keep going. To you, it's not a foul or a case number. It's your life. It is the person you loved. Hello, I'm Sara, Kenley's mom. Many of you know me as Mama Bear. After my only son, Dr. Kenley Gene Raney, was killed by a drunk driver, I believed someone would sit down with me, give me an official written copy of my victim's rights, explain what those rights meant, and tell me what I needed to do next. That was the myth. The reality was very different. Today, we are answering one question. What are victims' rights, and who is supposed to explain them? I'm not an attorney. I'm a victim and a mother, sharing what I learned through my own experience. Victims' rights and procedures are different depending on where the crime is being handled. Always verify official rights that apply to your own case. You may be handed a brochure, a packet, or a notebook, or a link to a website. Someone may believe that means you have been informed. But handing a victim information like this is not the same as helping a victim understand it. And being told about some of your rights does not necessarily mean you were shown all of them. The person accused of a crime is given an attorney whose responsibility is to protect that person's legal rights. The victim is not automatically given a personal attorney. That is one of the most important differences a victim needs to understand. The accused has an attorney to protect their rights. The victim is not automatically given a personal attorney. What are victims' rights? In simple language, victims' rights are legal protections intended to help victims be informed, be protected, be present, be heard, and be treated with fairness, dignity, and respect. I want you to see an official copy of the actual rights for yourself. That is important because when rights are shortened or rewritten, something may be left out. A victim cannot ask about a right they were never shown. Before I ever met with the assistant district attorney, I flew to Texas alone. I had just lost my only son. I was in shock. I was traumatized, and I was handed this notebook, nearly 100 pages long. I still have it. To me, this notebook was useless. It did not clearly say anything. Instead, it was page after page of words, forms, and confusing information that made absolutely no sense to me at the time, or even to this day. I did not feel as though it had been written by someone who understood what grief, shock, and trauma do to a victim's ability to think, understand, and remember. The myth is that handing a grieving victim a thick notebook means the victim has been informed. The reality is that this notebook did not inform me. It did not guide me. It did not give me a roadmap. I did not need a textbook. I needed one real person to say, here is an official copy of your rights. Here's where those rights come from. Here's where you register. Here is whom you contact. And here is the next thing you need to do. This is where victims can become confused, so I'm going to make it as simple as possible. Do not depend only on someone telling you what your rights are. Do not depend only on a rewritten list. And do not assume that you were told about every right. You need to see an official government copy for yourself. If your case is a federal criminal case, go to the official United States Department of Justice website and search Crime Victims' Rights Act, or search Department of Justice, DOJ, CVRA. CVRA stands for Crime Victims' Rights Act. The official law is 18 U.S.C. Section 3771. The Department of Justice page shows the actual rights provided to the victims of federal crimes. Do not use a rewritten social media list when the official government version is available. Read the official wording, save it, print it if you can, and keep it with your case records. The official Department of Justice page lists the rights of victims in federal criminal cases. These include the rights to reasonable protection from the accused, the right to reasonable, accurate, and timely notice of certain proceedings, releases, or escapes, the right not to be excluded from certain public court proceedings, the right to be reasonably heard at certain proceedings involving release, a plea, sentencing, or parole. The reasonable right to confer with the government's attorney, the right to restitution as provided by law, the right to proceedings free from unreasonable delay, the right to be treated with fairness and respect for victims' dignity and privacy, the right to timely information about a plea bargain or deferred prosecution agreement, and the right to be informed about these rights and available services. They are listed by the United States Department of Justice under the Federal Crimes Victims' Rights Act. But remember, the CVRA applies to federal cases. For state cases, you must obtain the original rights for the state where the case is being handled. The rights on the Department of Justice DOJ website are the official federal rights. The CVRA applies to federal criminal rights. State cases have their own official rights, who is supposed to help and explain them. The district attorney's office usually has a person who assists crime victims. That person may be called a victims assistance coordinator, or victims advocate, or victims witness coordinator. That person should help explain the process, notices, forms, and services available through that office. But there is something every victim needs to understand. The person is working in and for the district attorney's office and works for the state. That person is not your personal attorney. The prosecutor also represents the state, not you. I did not understand that difference. I believe the victim's rights person personally represented me and would make certain that my rights and interests were protected. That was not my experience. The victim's rights person may assist you, answer questions, and help you understand the process, but you should still obtain an official written copy of your rights for yourself. Then take the official copy to the victim's rights person and say, please explain how these rights apply to my case. Which rights require me to make a request? Do I need to complete a form? Do I need to register to receive notices? And who do I contact if I believe one of these rights is not being provided? A right may exist in the law, but you may still have to ask, register, complete a form, or provide your current contact information before you receive certain notices or services. Do not assume that because one office has your telephone number, address, or email, every other office has it too. Ask. Do not assume that every notice will happen automatically. Ask. And do not assume that being handed a packet means you have been properly informed. Ask to see the official rights. What should I do? What should a victim do first? You cannot learn the entire criminal justice system in one day. You should not be expected to. My mission here is to help victims understand and navigate the criminal justice system while they are living through trauma by sharing my personal experiences and the lessons I've learned. This is Lesson 1 of Series 2, Understanding the Criminal Justice System, one question at a time. This lesson answered one question. What are your rights, and who is supposed to explain them? Join me in Lesson 2. What does the prosecutor really do? Thank you for watching this, and subscribe if you find this information helpful.